Well. Okay, got that out of the way. And while I'm at that, deplete. Thank you all for having me here today. This is a great opportunity to have the floor in front of all of you. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. And in a minute I'm going to get into some details, but let me start at the top in case I don't make it. I have blue eyes. I'm from Massachusetts. I like pizza and beer. I like sports. I'm a soon-to-be husband. I'm a soon-to-be uncle. I'm an attorney. And a few other things. Let me get into more detail. More about me. There's 3 characteristics or traits that describe me best. And that is that I'm passionate. What am I passionate about? I'm passionate about things that I'm passionate about. And I'll get into that in a minute. I'm also driven. What am I driven about? I'm driven about the things I'm driven for. I'll get into those in a minute. And the 3rd trait is that I'm stubborn. And what am I stubborn about? Everything. I have 3 short stories that will show you how I am driven, passionate, and stubborn. When I was in high school, I decided I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. You might know the name Bob Costas. I looked up to him in a way. If you don't know what a sports broadcaster is, they do something like this. And now, introducing your Miami Heat. Wow. But they do it much better than that. And let me tell you right now, I did not end up pursuing that career path. However, that's what I wanted to do at the time. So I applied to schools of communication throughout the country, and I got into some good ones. But I didn't get into the one I wanted to get into most. That was Syracuse University School of Communications. I got into the School of Management at Syracuse, and they gave me an offer. They said, if you come to the management school, and you get a certain GPA your first year, then we'll let you into the communication school your second year. And I had a tough decision to make. But I ended up turning down all the other schools. I took the offer from Syracuse. And I worked my butt off my first year. Why? Because I was passionate and I was driven to do it. I needed to succeed, and I studied harder than I'd ever studied before. And I must note, I forgot to say this, I was a terrible student in high school. And that's probably why I didn't get in the first place. That's okay. I'm also stubborn. My dorm room, my first year at Syracuse, was such that I had to walk directly past the School of Communications every day to go to school management. At least twice, usually 4, maybe more times a day. And there was a courtyard that people would congregate on in the School of Communication. And so badly, every time I walked by it, I wanted to just step up those steps and be in that courtyard and be part of that. But I was so stubborn, I did not let myself take a single step up those steps until I reached my goal. Well, lo and behold, I got the GPA, I got into the school. For better or worse, I got to go up those steps. Why for worse? Well, it meant I was going to class. But that's okay. And I ended up graduating, and I now have a degree in communications and management from the school, from Syracuse University. As it turns out, and I'm now segueing into my second short story for you. While I was in the School of Communications, I decided I didn't want to be a sports broadcaster. After all, who knew? I wanted to be a sports agent. So I asked around. I said, how do I become a sports agent? What do I need to do? And everybody told me it doesn't matter what you need to do, because you're not going to do it. Why? It's too competitive. It's too cutthroat. Don't waste your time. Don't bother. But I was stubborn. And I didn't care what everyone else said. I was going to do it. So I started a sports agency, and I was passionate about it, and I was driven to succeed. I often worked from 6:30 in the morning until 2:30 the next morning for a few years. And I had my ups and I had my downs. At the end of the day, I got a phone call a few months ago from the New York Times. and they said, we heard about your sports business on a radio show, and we want to write an article about it. So a month ago, there was a full-page spread in the New York Times about my sports business. Needless to say, the work was worth it. I'm glad I was stubborn because I didn't give in to everyone telling me not to try. And I consider that a success, even though I'm not making any money doing it. Don't ask my fiance about that. Well, the School of Communications was my past. The sports agency the sports business is something in my present. And my future, my third story for you, is public speaking. I am deathly scared to public speak. That's a word. I can't even picture myself up here doing what I'm doing now. I really can't. I can't visualize it. So, that's okay. I'm passionate to do it. I believe I can do it. I'm driven to do it. I'm stubborn. I'm not going to let myself not try. And I'm grateful because all of you have given me this floor to speak to you. And together, as a team, we'll meet our goals together. Thanks very much.